Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Titan Tuesday.
On KHANTENT!
You might have been wondering where we were last week. Well, there was an IRL rumbling that delayed the episode, but now it's out, and we're going to talk about it. But first, go to subscribestar.com/KHANTENT to support all the fine work we do here on this show.
$10 a month.
Bonus episodes, and an advertisement. Hey kids, want to impress your friends and induce sexual arousal in your neighbors? KHANTENT t-shirts!
Wow, I've never been more impressed in my life with anything!
KHANTENT now has official t-shirt merchandise, and you can get yourself some by clicking below the video or in the Teespring link in the description. With designs like the classic KHANTENT logo.
Or this!
I've got a shirt on too.
Or this. KHANTENT! In these trying times, why not tell the world you'd rather be watching Camp from inside your cozy can tent? They're a great way to support the show and share your KHANTENT pride. So get out there, wear them, and get into KHANTENT.
俺がこの世で一番嫌いなものがわかるか。不自由なやつだよ。もしくは家畜だ。エレン！そいつを見ただけでムカムカしてしょうがなかった。その理由がやっとわかったよ。何の疑問も抱かずただ命令に従うだけの奴隷が見るに耐えなかった。俺はガキの頃からずっと、ミカサ、お前が大嫌いだった。
So here we are back again. Titans, we got a double episode here for 2 episodes, and first thing that happens is right where we left off, Eren's gonna have a little chat with Armin and Mikasa. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I love this. I love everything that happens in this episode. It was really, really good. Mm-hmm. But we're targeting in right on the theme of the idea that, like, no one has control in this scenario. And Eren has a very, like,
he's got a good case to make on that, yeah.
Yeah, a very direct proposition. This is not like a metaphorical type thing.
No.
He's like, no, you guys are literally being controlled by your, like, genetic destiny, essentially. In the case of Armin being that because he has eaten Bertolt, he is now regularly going to visit Annie, something he wouldn't have been doing or cared about. If not for that, so Eren's like, yeah, you've got the enemy inside you. You're not trustworthy.
Now, to be fair, this is slightly speculative on Eren's part. Perhaps, we can't know for sure that Armin is being dominated by the will of Bert, but that's what makes it interesting. It's a debate to be engaged on.
Just occurred to me, if Bert's will is living so strong in him, Eren ate his dad.
He sure did.
So maybe there's a lot of that will is going on and driving this man's actions.
For the record, we know that, I mean, just from what we knew about the king and the founding Titan thing, the will of the previous Titan people is passed on to the people who consume them. So, like, forget Eren's dad. What about, like, remember that guy? Oh, what was his name? That inspired Eren's name. Something Kruger, whatever the owl guy. Like, his will lives on in Eren, presumably, the old Attack Titan guy. Like, every person who had eaten a Titan, presumably, lives on in some form in the people here. So it's a big question as to how much that will imposes. Because, again, we know the founding Titan imposed its will, like, without question, on any royal who ate the founding Titan. So, like, what else is being controlled? Who else is in the mix there? There's a lot of opportunities to do interesting stuff there.
And in the case of Mikasa, she, apparently the Ackerman blood, the Ackermans were created, as Eren puts it, to be like a defense mechanism for Jeagerists. So
for the royal family, right? I think. Yeah.
And so, like, he proves this to her by, like, when Armin, like, tries to punch him, she, like, subdues him, like, self-consciously, not even thinking about it. Or subconsciously, I meant to say.
I have some issues and concerns with this particular execution of this.
Yeah.
Because okay, Eren makes his case that, okay, when you awakened your powers, Mikasa, remember, and this did happen, I ordered you, fight. And Eren has this speech here where, I love being free. I fucking love freedom. And if there's one thing I hate in this world, it's slaves.
Yeah.
Fuck slaves, man.
Slaves
Fuck
are
slaves.
the worst,
they
apparently.
choose to be imprisoned or something. This is what his point is. And, you know.
I don't even know if it's that. I think he just hates the thought and sight of them.
He just doesn't like the aesthetic. He doesn't, it's opposed to his brand. So he's not going to go for that. And when it comes to, so he ordered Mikasa in the past, and it's true, when that happened, she awoke in her powers, she did her big epic sword clench and stabbed the guy perfectly. So like, that did seem to happen. Okay, but again, the details matter here, because in this scene, to prove his point, when, you know, when Armin jumps up to attack him, because he's being an asshole or something, which we'll circle back to, Mikasa, without thinking, reacts and defends Eren, because presumably he has the founding Titan, because he's not a royal, you know, so like there's no, why would they necessarily be like genetically coded to defend him of all people? It's that he's making this case that like your Ackerman blood makes you just like a subservient person, a slave by nature, and you're looking for someone to defend. In this case, it happened to be me. But okay, I have to remember, what about all those times that just for example, like Jean and Eren fought, like that Mikasa didn't defend him? Was it because there was no real perceived threat? I'm just saying that kind of weakens the case that she, you know.
This feels like a retcon. I mean, it is
and
a retcon.
What about the time
but...
where Levi kicked the shit out of Eren in front of everybody? And it's true, Mikasa wanted to defend Eren then, but she chose not to, almost confirming that free will does play a part here, and that it's not that she has to defend. So this kind of weakens Eren's case at least a little bit here.
Yeah, it was a little strange for them to present it as though it was like an auto response when it's never.
Yeah.
And also, like she hasn't followed every command he's ever given her either.
Right.
So like,
right.
I don't know. Does he have to yell it a certain way for it to work?
Look, that's a little bit flimsy, but I see what they're getting at. I like the idea of her being like bred to be like a soldier and just like an obedient servant. That's a cool idea, and I understand what they're doing with there. But circling back just a little bit, what makes Armin jump up to attack Eren? And he utters those words, "I've always hated you, Mikasa." And actually, if you look closely, you can pinpoint the exact moment where her heart breaks. Right now. And
I love the facial expressions this season, by the way.
They were
so
great.
Much
They
detail
were great.
Put into getting those exact emotions down.
Mappa is doing great work on the emotion front. Now, about this scene, I've seen for years. I think I'd seen this around before. Somebody had spoiled it from the manga to me. It's interesting to analyze, like, what is really being attempted to be do here. Because I have heard diehard fans, who I've talked to recently, even after watching this episode, say, what's actually going on in this scene is that Eren, sure, he loves freedom, he hates slaves, he thinks they're bullshit or whatever, but what he's actually doing here, Mikasa says before, like, no, Eren, you're actually being the one controlled. I know the real Eren would never kill innocent people,
right.
Like, cares about us more than anybody, and blah, 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 we're really friends. What Eren's actually trying to do is protect Mikasa and Armin and all his other friends, because, you know, he appears to have higher goals. He's got his own plan he's going to be doing. And by saying, "I hate you, Mikasa," what he's actually doing is that typical, like when you've got a dog you can't take care of anymore, you got to beat it and make it run away because you don't want them around anymore. You want them to be free because you don't want them involved with the things you feel you're going to have to do, and you want them to be separate.
I mean,
what do you think of that?
Like, they could have. Not only could they have easily killed Mikasa and Armin, the Jeagerists, but also Armin could have easily Colossal Titaned and ended all of this right away. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't seem like either side has reached that level of we want to kill each other. I don't like. Eren is either sympathetic to his friends or has a plan for them, or both.
I'll give you my read, though, because I thought a lot about this scene, and I don't know all the information that comes in the manga later, but my read on it is that Eren does still, like, he thinks they're good people. He doesn't want to kill them if he doesn't have to. There's no need for that. That would have no strategic value, except maybe taking out, I mean, they are powerful. Okay, but anyway, I think Eren is, especially when he says, "I hate you, Mikasa," is, at least in the way he's viewing the world now, 100% sincere. I get absolutely no iota of doubt that he means what he says when he says, "Fuck you, Mikasa, I hate you, and I've always hated you." And if you go back, as I've done throughout our coverage here, and look at all the interactions between them, this has been a big running meme that Eren is, like, short with Mikasa. He says, like, "Fuck off, I want to do my own thing. I don't, like, want to just pretend that I'm an innocent little baby while you protect me. I've got my own things I need to do, and fuck you for interfering or trying to coddle me." It looks like this is totally consistent, and I think that he is, again, framing it in the most hostile way possible right now, but he has always hated that Mikasa was, you know, that kind of person.
And, I mean, I think it's, in a way, the show almost downplayed the, like, kind of abusive relationship that they have in that way. That, like, yeah, she has always kind of just thought back to that time he saved her and been like, he cares about me. And it's like, that was one thing he did.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He then complained at you for the next 12 years for being, on his ass about it.
I mean, she made herself, a busybody in his life a little bit, which he obviously kind of didn't love.
It kind of reminds me, if you've ever heard of the anime F, A Tale of Memories.
Heard of it.
In that show, one of the main guys has like a childhood friend girl who just kind of has always assumed she would end up with him. But she's just kind of like nags him and wants him to have like a normal life. And he's like, I'm dropping out of school to be a manga author, and I found a crazy girl who wants to fuck, so... I'm going with her, and that's how it ends. And it's kind of like, yeah, this is a similar situation. Mikasa's just kind of inserted herself into his life so much that she has built up in her head that I'm your number 2 gal, and he's just like, yeah, you just follow me around, and it's annoying.
That's right.
Actually,
That's right. And I know that, like, see, this is the funny thing. If you look back at like even like things like Attack on Titan Junior High, bonus episode available now on KHANTENT.com. All these meta elements, as well as pieces of the story itself, like really put the two together and made you feel like they're the destined couple or whatever. And while they could end up together, I suppose, at the end of the series. That's always possible. It's always been a mismatch where one person cares way more than the other. And like, it was cute and all. We all like the Mikasa. We all want a defensive GF who protects us and is super strong. But looking back on it, it was like weird that she was so attached.
She was kind of pathetic for most of the show.
So if some people seem blindsided this, to me, I think this is smart and good. And we've talked about how like Eren has just become absolutely focused on his goal and doesn't care about anything. Why would his clingy GF from when he was a kid be any different?
I also thought it was very assumptive on her part to be like, you wouldn't hurt women and children or whatever. It's like,
I know.
Why? Why do you think that about Eren?
He'll do what he has to do to get the job done. Well, we'll talk about more of that later, but I love that scene. And it just ends with their like, we're done talking now. I hate you. Now you know how it is. I'm going to do what I need to do. At the end, Armin. Now, see, this is the funny thing, or the interesting thing. At the end, Armin does call Eren a slave. And see, the one thing I was thinking this whole conversation was, how is Eren so certain that he is not also a slave to the whims of, how about, for example, the Owl, or his dad, who we talk about is just like his dad in many ways? What makes him so certain? And I don't know this, but I think that maybe we'll learn more, that he has like higher level knowledge. He has the founding Titan. Maybe that gives him some greater knowledge than everybody else. But when Armin says like, no, you're the slave to like your dad and destiny and blah, 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 Eren seems to really reject that, hate being called that. And I really want to know why he's so certain. Kind of like how I've been wondering what Zeke's deal, what he knew above everybody else, which we find out next episode, but we'll get to that.
Yes, well, and before we get to that, so we're introduced to Zeke's situation. He's sitting in the big old woods.
Yep.
Levi's watching over him with a bunch of bros, and then he fucking spinal fluids everybody. And so all of Levi's crew becomes Titans instantly. Every single person who has drank the spinal fluid, which is like every MP in the entire military, I guess, like gets stunned for a second.
Including Falco, confirming that Falco's got some Titan juice in him. And Pixis, like the head of our military, are all vulnerable to being Titaned by Zeke at any time.
Everybody who's not like one of our main characters is in trouble.
I think Levi would have been fucked over too. I mean, there was a little bit of Levi's
he doesn't drink, luckily.
They said that there was a little bit of ambiguity. He's like, why are we bringing wine on our mission? This doesn't make sense. Like, oh, Captain Levi, come on, we just want to party a little bit. That's fine cover for the character. I also would have been totally fine if he had drink, which he might have. We don't know for sure. If he's just, I've got Ackerman blood, I'm lucky, and I can't be turned into a Titan. Which also might be the case.
I like the idea that Levi just wouldn't drink, because I don't think he would. Like, I don't think he'd drink on the job the way all of his buddies would.
That is also fine. Either way, I'm happy and enjoyed it. And by the way, this, I think, is the ultimate best payoff of the whole secret Titan Zeke blood wine thing. Because the way it was used before was fine at times, but like now it's been used in a way, now that we understand the stakes involved in it, to specifically, I've been wondering like what Zeke's plan, what is Zeke gonna do? Turning every single one of your Eldian captors into Titans that you can control through this plot that's been established in other ways, except for the one guy who might be invulnerable or, smart enough to not get involved in it, is really good writing and gives us a great opportunity for like a justification why Zeke was so confident he was going to be able to escape. So I just loved that entire little setup.
I love that the scene kind of like you just got Levi and Zeke talking, and then Zeke just starts hauling ass.
The animation
Levi's
of him
like,
running
what the
away.
fuck is going on?
We were laughing at Zeke's little, not even running that fast, but his little running away animation was adorable. And then he does the big yell. Everybody gets fucked, and it's the larger implications of how, like, back at command, everyone is a potential fucking Titan Man now. And it got me thinking, you know what? It might make sense, even in the Eldian military, to employ some non-Eldians who can't be turned into Titans. Because look at Levi. This didn't help him one bit that he was using all Eldian soldiers. Maybe they could do something with that later.
That's a good point. Yeah, so he has to kill all of them. They all turn into Titans. There's this moment where he's like, am I going to have to... Yeah, well, I guess I am.
And Zeke is thinking to himself like, oh, are you really going to kill your cute little Titans? But of course, for not one fucking... Levi just hesitate for one moment and is like, oh man, I don't want to have to do this. After that, he's like, they're Titans now, it's over. And he, I can't believe Zeke even thought it would slow him down for like a few seconds, because he just destroys all of them. Yeah. It's what he's been born to do. He's been killing his own Titan friends since, way back in the day. So, yep, there it is.
And so he puts a fucking rod through Zeke's side that is tied
before
to
that, there's just a great monkey man fight between Levi and Zeke. It's the rematch. It's the final rematch we've been waiting for. There's the monkey rap, the DK rap plays in the background. A lot of people were thinking that it was funny. Personally, I thought it suited the scene just fine.
That's right, there was a rap song in there.
There was a rap.
That was very strange. And because Zeke starts tearing apart Titans to fight him with. Yep. I almost forgot about that. He rips a Titan in half and beats him with it.
And see,
great stuff.
This was great because we see Levi. Okay, Levi's just one little fuckboy against a Titan and an army of Titans. What's Levi gonna do? Oh man, Levi going sicko mode again and strategically cutting branches to create illusions so that he's distracted. They knew from the start to put Zeke in this big tree tower place because his powers are way less effective there. There's all kinds of cover for Levi to use and stuff. And Levi does just cuck the man again. Levi completely outclasses him as long as he's got the ability to use his moves. The Ackerman blood is fucking strong and just utterly devastates the man. And Christ, the amount of damage done to Zeke's fucking body, blowing apart all his fucking limbs and his face and shit, was devastating, but was fucking awesome. And again, I loved it, and I got to feel the satisfaction of seeing Levi get a little bit more revenge for Erwin. So that's always nice to see.
And then he hits him with the rod in his guts and tied around his neck, so if he moves, he'll explode. Yep. And just starts chopping his legs off for the hell of it. I'm going to make you die nice and slow, you bastard.
For the record, at first I thought oh no, Levi's he's gone to the dark side and he's torturing Zeke now for no reason. But then he says I have to keep cutting off your feet because as long as you're healing, you can't go tight. And I was like, you know what? I really feel like Levi retains his moral compass and really isn't doing these things out of vengeance. He is mission oriented and he's still a good boy. He could be pushed over the edge potentially. In fact, an episode or two ago, there was a great little moment we didn't talk about where Levi was just kind of reflecting on oh my God, all the effort I put into protecting Eren over the years. And he's fucking betrayed us and he's working with this motherfucker, Monkey Man. Levi is facing some struggles right now, but I hope he keeps it together because he's still a good boy. After the cutoff scene that was, because of the earthquake in Japan and whatnot, we get a new scene of the Jeagerists who storm the training corps, and they just take the shit over, and they force all the cadets to beat up our man Keith to prove their loyalty to the cause.
That was great. I love the idea that... I'm surprised they didn't just have him killed, but
Yeah.
I like how, what's his name, the red-haired dude?
Flock, yeah.
When Flock comes in, he's treating the commander like a piece of meat. Mm-hmm. He's just yeah, you guys need to beat this guy's ass, and, they've all got guns on him and stuff, so it's that super... this gave me Game of Thrones vibes, this whole episode. Yeah. Just that level of, we're killing everybody. We're just coming through mercilessly And
even among the ranks, even before they show up, some of the cadets are why are we training to fight Titans? Our enemies are out there, goddammit, and we need to work with the fucking Jeagerists. We want Eren in charge of the government. He's the hero we need to lead us. And this is why they're able to be converted so easily. Our boys in the military, Mikasa, Armin, Hanji, they are taking a beating, and they are not winning the war on any front politically or physically or anything else.
Yeah.
Sad to see.
I like how Keith was like, I can take all these cadets, and we can see he maybe knocked out 5 or 6 of them.
Maybe.
There's some piled, looks like there's some people laid out around him, but yeah, he gets his ass kicked.
I mean, against like 50 or 100 cadets or something. I mean, yeah, it's what can you do? So that was sad to see, and I think that's basically the end of the episode, if I remember correctly. Oh, the last thing is we cut back to Zeke with Levi's bombing him, and we begin to, he's asking, where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? Leading to the final, at last, the Zeke flashback I've been dying for in the next episode. So let's get into that right now.
Absolutely.
ユミルの民が子供を産めなくすることもできるのかな。もしこれ以上ユミルの民が生まれてこなければ100年後にはこの世から巨人は消滅している。もう世界は巨人の脅威に怯えたり苦しめられたりせずに済む。私はいつでも見守っているからな。ジーク。見つけてみせるよ。父さん。
So first of all, we've got Zeke as a baby boy.
Look at this little baby.
This baby can clearly do nothing wrong. And the beginning of the episode, we're seeing Zeke's perspective being raised by Grisha and his mom, whose name I can't remember right now, but the royal one. He's a special boy. And we're getting the perspective, we're learning everything as to why he thinks the way he thinks. And the first layer of his life is like, Zeke, you're the chosen one. You need to restore Eldia. His dad's like a hardcore Eldian restorationist, his mom too, and their whole gang. And Zeke has been put in this position where he is infiltrating the Marleyan government as one of their training people to get one of the Titans, because he needs to in order to use his powers fully and stuff. And the pressure being put on him by his family is so unbelievably massive that it's just clearly traumatizing. Yeah. From a baby, he's been taught that, like, you need to lie to everyone. You need to be a double agent. You're the most important boy. Fuck you if you don't like it. Work harder, you piece of shit. And that doesn't really motivate him very well.
It's interesting. Yeah, as a kid, he's got, like, he intellectually understands what all this stuff his dad's telling him is, but emotionally, he's like, I want to hang out with my dad.
Yeah,
Like,
and
he
he's
sees
a
other
child.
kids hanging out with their dads, and he's like, well, but why
He's
not
no
me?
Gabby. He's no Gabby when it comes to
No.
dedication to the cause.
Not at all.
And while it's, as adults, we can be like, oh, just do your job. I mean, you've got a job to do. But, like, he is a child. Of course he, like, wants a relationship with his dad. I really like this, like, humanization of Zeke. And this is, like, his initial layer of trauma as a child, being raised from birth as a double agent with this huge destiny on him. Eventually, he meets a man named, oh, God, what was it? Ksaver. Ksaver? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Ksaver?
Ksaver.
Something like that.
And that man has the glasses that Zeke wears when he gets older and is the Beast Titan. So we just learned right away this guy is going to be relevant to Zeke's future. And that guy is like, hey, Zeke, want to play catch, old buddy? Want to be pals? Yeah. So first of all, looking back at in season 3, the horrible like baseball pitching attacks that fucking Monkey Man did.
Oh,
there's a whole
yeah,
layer of
you're
connection
right.
there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
At first, I laughed, and then I cried, and then I got a little mad, and I was like, that's stupid, man, fuck you. But you know what? Honestly, it's fine. It's a cute little connection, whatever. I'm not gonna complain about it too much. Anyway, point is, his connection with that guy deepens, and that guy knows some deep lore shit about Titans, because he is not really a soldier, he is a researcher. Do I have the man? Yeah, there he is. And he knows deep lore shit about the founding Titan and what Titans are, and that's why he became one to begin with. And he also says that his Beast Titan is useless in combat, which is curious. I
This
wonder what that
guy
means.
kind of explains possibly why Titans exist in the first place.
Right.
Because Ymir, there was some kind of huge plague that had wiped out a significant amount of the population, and Ymir was looking for a way to stop it. And apparently, having the Founding Titan allows you to change the physical makeup of all Eldians.
Yep,
I believe that was what they were told. So,
absolutely true.
So this is what the point of all of this is there was a plague, how do we deal with it? Founding Titan allows us to change how our bodies function so that we don't have this plague.
Well, hang on. I think I might slightly have heard things slightly differently. I know that he said at this point, he does talk about like, okay, how did this whole Titan thing start? He says the founder Ymir came in contact with something. It's right here on the caption on screen. So that happened. I don't know if it was necessarily at that exact same time, but there was a plague at some point. Maybe these two events were directly correlated or a little different. I don't really know. Where they use the Titan connection thing to change the Eldians, and he describes all Eldians as part of the same body of like the founding Titans. They're all linked, which is cool. So again, I don't know if there's like necessarily a one-for-one connection there. Maybe it was, but that idea of now we had heard in the past, we had heard some crazy stuff about what Titan powers can do beyond just turning into a Titan. There was, of course, the whole memory wiping thing, which is brought up here. And it's true, wiping memories is, in real life, a physiological change to your brain. It's like altering your brain chemistry. I always like that in Code Geass. Whenever Lelouch uses his Geass, you can see like the brain like change in some physical way. That's how I think about it a little bit here. But now, see, it's only at this point that we're bringing up this additional ability that the founding Titan has when a royal has it in control or whatever, that they can also change the physical makeup to like prevent them from being vulnerable to a disease or anything. That opens the door to so much more that you can do narratively. And I just want to point out, like, while I like what that does and I see where they're going with it, that was never introduced before, and that is very lucky that power exists now, because it'll sure make their plans a lot easier than other stuff. But again, I brought up that whole memory change thing because changing someone's brain is a physiological change, so it does have like some precedent. Whatever, it's fine, just a little convenient. Anyway, so in talking about the plans, Zeke actually just confesses, because he's developed this bond with Ksaver, whatever, that my parents, they're fucking traitors to Marley, and I feel like I'm gonna get murdered any day because of what they're doing. I'm being forced to be part of this plot. I don't even like it. And Ksaver recommends.
There's no reason Zeke should trust any of this to work. And
No.
It is actively failing, because his dad is losing his fucking shit because Zeke sucks and he's the
This
worst
episode
dad.
really recontextualizes Grisha as like a kind of a monster, like a fucked up dad, and it makes perfect sense knowing what he expected of his son. And like, I was thinking about this. If Zeke is so important, if he's the chosen destined one, and Grisha is putting all his hopes on Zeke, question, why not have more children with your royal wife? If there had been a line saying after having Zeke, she became infertile, okay, that line doesn't happen, so I'm wondering, why don't you have more kids? That just vastly improves your odds of one of them being a good soldier and making it into the program. So I don't know, just maybe there'll be an explanation. I don't know.
He could have thought a little harder about that one, probably.
But this man here, he's the one who drops the idea to Zeke. Speaking about controlling people's actions, hey Zeke, you should turn your family in. You don't owe them shit. They put this on you. Their plans are terrible. Let's work out a better plan at some point, maybe. And that's why Zeke does it, which was incredibly fucked up and sad to see. But yeah, that's
incidentally, what their plan seems to be, now that Zeke knows that you can change the Eldians, is to make it so they cannot have children anymore.
Well, when they become adults, yes, this is what they talk about.
So he's like, if we make it so Eldians can't have kids, then within 100 years we'll all be dead, and there'll be no more Scourge of the Titans. I'm not sure if that's still the plan with Eren, or if it's just to eliminate them all, because it seemed like Eren was just like, let's just get rid of all the Titans.
Let's get into that, because this is honestly perhaps the most fascinating part. Okay, people have guessed. Yeah, I had heard some spoilers. I knew this plan was coming eventually. And now it's finally here, so we can talk about it openly. Zeke's motivation has been confusing and mysterious and fascinating, and I've wanted to know. In my mind, Zeke's plan, along with Ksaver here and whatnot, is the smartest plan that they have available, the most humane plan. And there's caveats to what Zeke's done. We can't forget Zeke just killed a lot of soldiers and stuff to maintain his cover. That was pretty fucked up. And this is where they begin to recontextualize stuff like that as like, during season 3 when he was killing soldiers, he was like, it has to be done, this is all for my cover. But now he's like, no, killing them is actually setting them free. I'm freeing these Eldians from their curse. And now, okay, if Zeke is really thinking that just killing an Eldian is like a good thing to do, because then they won't have to suffer with life anymore. And we'll talk about his backstory as well, and how the suffering that life entails as an Eldian. then your plan should just be genocide. Because, like, I don't know, they'll be happy you're dead, I'll just kill them all. But they specifically are actually saying the plan is not even euthanasia, but sterilization, so that they can't have more kids, and blah, blah, blah. Those are very different plans, and there's a reason they're going for this sterilization plan, so that they don't have to murder men, women, and children. That, it's fucked up to stop someone's ability to reproduce if you don't have to, but it is vastly more humane than fucking murdering them in their sleep or whatever. So, like, Zeke's attempts to kind of justify the murders he's done here fall a bit flat for me. I guess they're for the sake of the larger plan, so I guess that makes sense. But anyway, let's talk about sterilization specifically as a plan, because the way I see it, I think there are 3 competing plans right now that are in operation. I guess 4. There's the outside world plan, kill them all, just murder the Eldians because they're bad boys, stop them from turning into Titans. But the real plans on the table from our gang is, first of all, there's Armin, Mikasa, and the military, which is use the rumbling a little bit. This is what they think Zeke is trying to help them do. Use the rumbling a little bit with Zeke's help to form a defensive barrier around Eldia and just live and just try to get by and do our thing. That's plan 1 that our main character is trying to do. Plan 2 is Zeke's now, which is sterilize, obtain the Founding Titan and my powers, me and Eren together. We can sterilize all Eldians so that they won't be able to reproduce. We'll talk about the moral implications of that a little bit more. But then there's the third plan, which I call the Eren sicko mode plan, which is accept no compromises. And this is where I want to talk about the meeting between Zeke and Eren here. Because, during Zeke's time in Liberio, he met Eren, and Eren says, I'm going to go along with your plan, Zeke. I'm on your side. I, at this point, think Eren is absolutely lying, because nothing he has ever said about fuck compromise, fuck accepting a middle ground. Like, you want me to live on this island? You want me to, like, kill all my potential future children? Not kill, but, never have, cut off their future? Fuck you, Zeke. I'm killing everybody else. I'm using the rumbling. This fucking world doesn't deserve to live if it means I have to live a compromised life. And I suspect that this is Eren's plan. That we don't know for sure yet. Maybe he's going to be a good boy. I don't think so. So,
Me neither.
In these competing ideas of what the plan should be, there's just a great ideological spread here. Like, maintain a defensive barrier, kill everybody. So there's like the defensive versus the overly aggressive plan. And then there's Zeke's plan of like, is sterilization ethical? And I've been dying to talk about this for as long as we've been covering the show, knowing that this was coming. It is fucked up to sterilize somebody. It is a fucked up thing to do against their will, and that's exactly what Zeke plans to do. You don't have the right to tell someone that they can't have kids if they want to otherwise. But in an imperfect world in which our characters find themselves, I think it is... The Eldians are a curse. They are a curse on the world a little bit, and I kind of think it's the best plan. If I had to pick one, that's what I would go with. Any thoughts?
Sterilization's not so bad.
I want to have kids, personally. So if somebody forced me to sterilize myself, I would have deep issues, and frankly would justify almost anything I want to do to defend that right. Now, if you start killing innocent people, that's going too far. I mean, for people who want a future for themselves and their kids and their families and believe in themselves.
For a lot of these Eldians, it would probably be like, well, there is no point to life if like they had a desire to do that. As like, for a lot of people, I think I think a lot of the reason that people have children is that a lot of people find a sense of purpose in doing so. Like genetically, it is pretty much the point of your whole existence. It's everything your body wants you to do, basically. So. Yeah, I have to imagine for a lot of people, they'd just be like, well, why did you bother leaving me alive,
I mean, I'm sure there's some people like that, and I suppose, this is the thing, your preference for which of these paths to go on will obviously depend on your view of the world. I mean, I know people in real life who don't want to have kids. I guess they would think, but again, would those people ever want to impose that on people who did? I like to think the answer is no, otherwise we'd have an ethical quandary, in my opinion.
I would, again, if somebody said like they were going to force something on me, like you said, it's like, well, that's not for you to decide.
That's when we grab our guns and go to fucking war.
Exactly.
That's no good. And again, I just want to bring up like the Grisha plan, because there is an alternative, which is the Grisha plan, which is and I guess the Grisha plan's maybe a little bit between like Eren's plan and like the military's plan, Mikasa and Armin and whatnot. Like Grisha he wanted to reform the Empire. He tells Zeke when he's a kid, like, we're living in a fucked up world where, our people are oppressed for things that we personally haven't done. And there's this great discussion. This encapsulates the stuff that we've been talking about of how there are two versions of history. The Marleyans say back in the day the Eldian Empire did like these three like tragedies, these three like holocausts or whatever, these three specific events. And Grisha tells Zeke, those three things, they didn't happen. The Eldians didn't do that. It's propaganda. And this was like 600, 1,200 years ago, something like that. We have no idea which of these sides is telling the truth. And it really doesn't matter, because none of that impacts what's done today, except that the Titans remain a weapon and a threat that, should be minimized. We don't want innocent people to be hurt by Titans if we can avoid it. So again, I'm loving this big fucking culmination of all these different ideas being clashing against each other. And it's all going to depend on the mind of the viewer, what you think the right thing to do is. But as for what I think is going to happen...
I don't think there is a right thing to do in this situation, other than peace, other than everybody just suddenly one day wakes up, lays down arms, and decides to live in harmony as best they can.
Well, it gets to an interesting discussion. Is life about minimizing damage to innocent people? That's one way to view, good or the way you should live. But there's other ways of viewing it. Is life about allowing people to achieve, their desires and their goals and maybe establish the life they want for themselves as much as possible? That's another way to look at it. Your values matter in what you think is good or evil or the right way to live or the wrong way to live in the world. And that's being reflected in the story right now, and I am loving it. And incidentally, Zeke is like so emotionally... he's so delighted that Eren is like, yes, Zeke, I will go along with your plan. And I'm right now. Zeke, I think, is the hero of the story, basically. He has done bad things in pursuit of a larger goal, turning in his parents. That was a fucked up thing to do, but for the larger goal.
Killing
tons of our characters and stuff, fucked up thing to do. But there was a point to it all. So, like, again, depending on how you view things and what your values are, some characters look like heroes, some characters look like villains. But I know that I was sad when Zeke was crying because Eren, in my view, lied to him. Like, yes, Zeke, I'll go along with their plan. He's not going along with that plan.
I think the deepest evil from both of these brothers is the fact that they kind of just make up everything on their own and don't really like run it by people. Aside from the dude who he considers his dad, Zeke. What was his name again?
Grisha?
No, the guy who played...
Ksaver or something, yeah.
Ksaver, whatever. This guy, he calls him dad.
As he puts on the glasses, after eating him.
You get the sense that while he talked to that guy and like whoever they made those plans with, ultimately, most of the people that he's working with don't know what he's trying to do. So he, his idea might be the best idea, but is he asking other people for their input? Has there ever been a conference?
Well,
do any of the Eldians get to decide their fate?
In slight defense of totalitarianism, sometimes the masses don't know what's good for them.
I don't think he has to tell everybody, but like at the very least, maybe like have a conference with some of the smarter ones.
I mean, it's fair to say, like, if you've got one leader...
or something, he could have a conversation about this,
That's
right?
true. If you've got one leader, what if that leader goes crazy? And, I mean, this is what the Mad King in Game of Thrones did. So, like, okay, yeah, it's true. You don't want one person deciding everything. There's, again... We're presented with a specific moral conundrum here as to what the right plan should be. As viewers, we have the luxury of analyzing what we think the right path is, and if we decide that there's one path we think is the morally right thing to do, then like whatever those characters do to make that happen, barring some horrible nightmares or atrocities, that is kind of justified in our eyes. So like, I mean, I do think Zeke has the best answer for the future of the world. The world would be better without Titans. Titans are like nukes, They're a negative thing. I mean, okay, you could argue, they've achieved global stabilization. Okay, but these are not like nukes. They're actually more fucked up than nukes in some ways, and what they can do to a population. You can turn innocent people into Titans against their will. That's a fucked up thing to do. Man, there's just a lot to say about all this stuff in these fucking episodes, and I've been loving it.
So, these were episodes
14 and 15 out of 16.
They said, though, 13 and 14 in the episodes.
You know what it is? At the beginning of the episode, they show total series episode number. That was a 73 and a 74.
Oh,
It's just the
okay.
7 kind of looks like a 1.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep, yeah. But there is, in fact, 1 episode left in the final season, and we're not wrapping up all of this.
I don't understand. Yeah, no, there's...
No.
Unless literally in the next episode, Eren just goes,
Anime
okay,
original
nuke,
ending, everybody.
Wham, and everything gets destroyed.
They could do it. They won't do it.
I will say we are at a point in the story where it feels like we understand most of what needs to be understood. It's just going to be about watching it all play out, which is why I think it could just be a movie, possibly.
I agree. All the heavy lifting of moral complexity is really done at this point. It's just watching which of these different paths works out the best, or which wins the power struggle. So what I'll be interested to see is 1 episode left. Mappa's doing. Will Mappa continue some adaptation? Will another studio pick up, do a movie or another season or any? This whole final season meme. I hope they just call it like the final season or something, because this was dumb.
It's either going to be Final Season Part 2
Yeah,
or Attack
yeah.
on Titan, the movie.
I'm fine with either of those things. There is a lot of content still. I haven't looked at the chapter numbers. They could easily get another probably 16-episode season out of things. So I would be fine with that. Mappa, or if Whit wants to do it again, somebody finish this fucking story, because it's great. Some of the best stuff on TV right now.
It is, as Victor said earlier, shockingly good. I would never have thought, even based on season 3, that it would get as good as this has gotten. So,
and I want to give credit again to Isayama that, especially if you look back at the manga, almost all of this, thematically at the very least, maybe some of the plot details are made up. It was all there from the start. And there are even some things in the manga, there's some discussion of the very first panel of the first chapter and how it might imply some larger things that we'll talk about another episode in the future or something. This was a well-crafted, well-thought-out plot from the beginning. And you know what? Some of the stories that in that storybook of some of the tragedies that the Titans may or may not have done, the Eldians did, that imagery was in the endings of season 2 and stuff. So it's that's so cool that they had ideas like that planned out. Now again, you can kind of fill in some of those details later. You put in some vague imagery of Titans marching, you fill it in later with a name. That's all fine. But thematically, this is really good stuff. Just the things like Eren's relationship with Mikasa finally being recontextualized and spoken of the way a lot of us have been thinking about for a long time. I don't know, Eren's feelings about slavery and freedom, and Zeke's plan finally coming to the forth.
and then Zeke he blows himself up.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
To try to kill Levi, so
And
Zeke
we
is
see
probably dead.
Levi flying through the air. Now,
Levi unclear.
when Zeke got that thing stuck in him, Levi said hey, don't pull that or you'll blow yourself in half. Titan shifters can survive being blown in half, so I'm not, there's no way Zeke dies right there. He's got things to do in the plot. Maybe. Levi is all fucked up though. Probably, we see him fly through the air. And by the way, I just want to shit on Levi for being so ass-numbingly fucking stupid. What kind of a guard gives the prisoner
a bomb
and
then sits
next to them, knowing they could do something that fucks over their cap? That's terrible planning. Yeah. But whatever. Obviously it was set up so this dramatic thing could happen. And I really think this is being set up so that Levi will be too hurt to be in whatever fight is almost definitely about to happen next episode or in the times to come. So that's what Levi's up to. Zeke's probably going to be okay, in my estimation. We'll see. And more things are going to come in the future, I guess.
I assume Levi's going to get just injured enough to be the only character who survives this show or something
Would
like
make
that.
sense. Would make sense.
Not surprise me, but
maybe Levi will be the one who proves. And in fact, think on this whole Ackermans or slaves things Eren was talking about. Is Levi a slave? He doesn't strike me as much of a slave. He followed Erwin so dedicatedly. Yeah, when Erwin proved that he was worthy of following by convincing him with facts and logic, that's not the action of a slave. But whatever. Fuck you, Eren. Your plans are stupid. Stop killing people. Fuck you. Anyway, that's it, everybody, for this episode of the Titan Show on KHANTENT. Hey, don't forget to support us on subscribe.com/KHANTENT. $10 for all our best bonus episodes, including that Attack on Titan middle school one that has extra stuff about the ending of the series and stuff. Ooh, it's fun. Go check it out. We also have t-shirts you can buy down below. We've got a Twitter and a Discord where you can talk at folks. And if you send a clip in, you might be playing in this here KHANTENT clip. KHANTENT!